One of the questions students are most intimidating by in the directed writing component is report writing. The moment they see the word report, they completely lose it and have no idea how to address it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can identify the types of questions that can come under report writing, the general format of a report, and how you go about addressing it. Usually, there are three types of questions that can come in a report. The most common ones are when you're asked to write a report to a police officer talking about an incident that you witnessed. Similarly, you might be asked to write a report to the police about a robbery that occurred. The robbery question is the most frequent one that comes in exams. And the third type of question is when you're asked to write a report to a principal about a suggestion that he or she may want. For example, a recent question in the O-Levels past paper was, write a report to the principal telling them how to make the start of the academic year easier for students. Why this is important is that this establishes your understanding. Who is the audience of the report? Who are you writing to? What is the desired expectation out of that report? Now, what does the format or the structure of a report look like? Here, you have to make sure that you're not following the same guidelines that were provided to you for formal and informal letter. Here, you have to completely disconnect from that information and focus on report writing entirely. Now, in a report, like a formal and informal letter, you are provided a start within the question. Usually, the start of a report would be something like to the principal, to the police officer, etc. That is exactly how you begin the report. You leave a line, and one thing that you add and cannot miss out on absolutely is your subject line. This could be like a heading. For example, tips to make the academic year easier for students. That's a good way to start a report based on the question I just provided you. You have to make sure you leave a line between to the principal and your subject, and you leave a line again once you start your report. Remember, O-Levels examiners no longer expect you to indent your paragraphs. Instead, they expect you to leave a line. Once you've provided your subject, you begin your actual report. You have your basic introduction, but unlike other forms of writing and directed writing, you cannot waste your introduction developing a foundation. More or less, you have to hit the topic immediately and start addressing the problem at hand. You can easily divide your report into 3 to 4 paragraphs, where the 3 content points provided you in the question are addressed within those paragraphs. Then you conclude your report, followed by your name and your date. Remember, in a report, you are not expected to provide a close. This is not a letter. This is a report, which means the expectation is entirely different. So don't use some fancy signature that takes up half of the page. Just merely provide your name and the date the report was written. How do you go about understanding how to change your language, how to understand the expectations of the audience are all questions that we will be discussing in the later videos. Right now, what I want you to do is in the discussion box, provide the basic format of a report to check your understanding.